Hi there. So here's my first ever vlog. I don't know why I decided to film this. I think maybe I just feel like I need a little bit of an outlet. Lately things have been a little bit crazy, and I think I just needed to vent a little bit. So what's been going on lately? I've been working through a course on project management. So here's my textbook, An Introduction to Project Management. This is something that I'm working on during my mat leave, just to kind of hopefully advance my career a little bit. I'm going to try and get my PMP designation, which is Project Management Professional designation. So in order to do that, I need 35 hours of accredited coursework, so I'm trying to get that now. I've got the work experience, so now, after that I just need to study for the big PMP exam. The goal was to try and get that all done before I went back to work, but I don't know if it's going to happen now. I'm going to finish this course for sure. I'm going to finish the course near the end of August. I think that will be no problem, although really it's just been hard to find time to study, and I'm going to get a little into that a little later. Funny enough, not because of this one, because of my older one, who I love and cherish and is amazing, but he's 3 and a bit, and he is a challenging 3 and a bit. So it's been really, really hard to get time to study or work on assignments and things. But, my husband is amazing, and so we're trying to work some things out right now so that I can get time to study. This one here has been growing leaps and bounds. We're into solids now, and, he's on his way to crawling, so he's, scooting himself backwards, which is awesome. But it just reminds me that, I've only got like 5.5 months of mat leave left. And I shouldn't say only. I know a lot of people out there are not even as lucky as me to get as much time as I've gotten. We're so lucky in Canada that we have 1 year, government supported maternity leave. My job will be there when I am done. So I feel super, super lucky to be living in a country that allows me to do that. So I'm really not complaining, but boy, like I feel like this time around, my mat leave's going so fast. This is, we've decided this is going to be our last, so I'm trying to really enjoy it, and it's just sort of bittersweet as I'm watching him grow up, and I'm never gonna do this again. So yeah, it's I'm not regretting the decision, but it's food for thought for me that this chubby guy, he's advancing, and it's just reminding me that time's a going, and just take the good with the bad. I'm one of those people who, when people come up to me and say like, oh, when you're a parent of young children, you got to enjoy every moment. I'm sorry. There are some moments that I just cannot enjoy and do not treasure. I sometimes feel like, I think parenting is maybe like running a marathon, right? Like sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh God, why am I doing this? This is killing me. It hurts so much. But, when you're nearing the end, not that I'm nearing the end of parenting, but, like when you hit the good part of it, you're like, oh, I'm really glad I did that. And you look back on it fondly. But sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you're like really in the trenches, and you're like, what the heck? I'm not enjoying this at all. So maybe going on that trend, my 3.5-year-old has been sort of driving us a little bit, my husband and I, alternately crazy. It's actually, which is maybe a good thing. So on the days where I feel like I can't take it anymore, my husband is like, no, these things take time. We got to relax. And on the days where he is going like, oh my God, this kid, I'm sort of like, these things take time. God, it's just, yeah, I'm just glad we're not both crazy at the same time, because otherwise that just may be a bad scene. But in sort of keeping with that, he's our older boy. He's 3.5, and he's prone to temper tantrum. He's not ready for potty training. He's not a very verbally expressive kind of kid. He is very physical. He likes doing things. He's very active, lots high energy, extremely willful, and but very intelligent, super smart. But he knows what he wants, and he just wants it his way. So that's one of those qualities I think is going to be great when he's an adult, but hard now because he, how do I explain to him that, I'm sorry, now it's, I don't know, you can't take your favorite train into the bathtub with you. Please don't. I mean, I could probably say yes and just let him deal with the natural consequence of that. But I'd rather not have a beloved toy, break before this one gets a chance to, have at it. I mean, that was not a very good example. But, like there are times when he wants to do something and he just can't do it that way. Like, please don't kneel on the cat. Okay, that's maybe a good one. He loves to terrorize our cat, and I'm constantly telling him, please don't, like, cat's a living thing. You don't want to, bother it. How would you like it? But of course, he thinks it would be wonderful or funny if someone knelt on him. And he then encouraged us to please kneel on him. So that kind of, backfires on me. Anyways, I love him to bits. Don't get me wrong. He is an amazing child, but he is hard to handle sometimes. So in that vein, a friend of mine recommended this book to me. It's called 1, 2, 3 Magic, Effective Discipline for Children 2 to 12. So we've been reading through this, and we're giving that a try right now. A lot of things have been better since we've started implementing some of the techniques in it. The one thing that we've continued to have challenges with is his bedtime. And this is one of the main reasons why we're kind of struggling a little bit in terms of me getting time to work on my coursework, because of course I have to work on it after the kids have all gone to bed and everything's been cleaned up. That's when I can sit down and do my coursework. Well, our 3.5-year-old is deciding now that, he doesn't want to go to bed. And it's a rare night where we can get him to be asleep before 10 p.m., which I feel is too late for him. He needs to be asleep sooner, but he's constantly opening the door to his room. We sit outside of his room, and every time he opens the door, we calmly, return him to his bed, tell him to please, good night, and but he treats it as a game. So he thinks it's funny that we're sitting right outside his door. And, we've done all kinds of different things. The doorknob protectors on the door don't work. He can take them off. Again, I said he's a smart kid. So he takes them off. I don't think we're allowed to put locks on doors. I think we're living in one of those provinces where that's actually illegal, to put locks on, children's doors. Yeah, so, putting a gate in front of his room, I don't know. Anyways, my husband and I have had a chat about that. He does not condone, he is not a supporter of sort of locking him, confining him to his room. So we are sorting that out right now. Yeah, so if he's not asleep until 10, and that leaves very little time for me to get the house ready for the next day, get everything's ready, for the next day, and then sit down and do my coursework. Yeah, so I'm struggling a little bit with that. But we will power through it. I have to get through this course. There's no choice about it. Yeah, so, the bedtime thing, I know it'll come. We're doing some new, we're, trying to basically re-sleep train him, although not in the sense of going to sleep by himself. He can go to sleep just fine, and thankfully he will sleep through the night once he is asleep. He does not, get up every 5 minutes looking for mom and dad, which I am grateful for. I realize that my situation could be so much worse, but again, it's challenging trying to juggle everything. What else has been going on? I really, again, in thing of not much time there, I'm really, really wanting to get back into some video gaming. I love playing video games. I started, before I had this one, I started a game of Ni no Kuni, which is a game for the PlayStation 3 that is put out put out in collaboration with Studio Ghibli. I don't know if you guys know Studio Ghibli, but they're the ones who did, you know, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away. They have done some fantastic animated movies. I love watching them in Japanese, actually, with subtitles. So I've been wanting to play that game. I started it, and after this one was born, I have not picked up the controller since then, and I really, really want to play a little bit sometime. But again, you know, priorities. The video game seems to slide to the bottom of the list. But since I've had this guy, I've been rediscovering my love of the public library. Oh my God, the Toronto Public Library is amazing. So I picked up a couple of books just today. I've been getting books for my older one, and just finding all kinds of neat books. Like, I didn't know they had such an amazing crafting section. So I've just borrowed this one, Knitwit, to make some really cool toys. Oh my gosh, even if it's just ideas for me, I really, you know, really like that. Then they even have comic books, which I also love. So I borrowed a graphic novel. This is Fables, which is a title that I've heard so much about, but I just haven't gotten into. I've read the first few pages of that already, and I think I'm a fan. I'm gonna have to figure out. I know this one is not the first in the series. I think I'm gonna have to go back and look for it. I mean, it is a winner of 14 Eisner Awards. I didn't even know that, but I saw it and I was like, hey, this looks kind of neat. Yeah, so I just got it, and yeah. And then this was kind of a pick, How to Never Look Fat Again. So I know I'm not fat. I know that. And you know, here I'll stand up so you guys can see even my like baby belly. I don't really have too much of a baby belly left either, but there is still enough of a pooch there that you know, not severe, but different than my pre-baby body for sure. So I think I just wanted a little bit of tips, some tips just to dress a little, you know, a little nicer. Not that I don't feel fat, but I will admit that there are probably some pieces in my wardrobe that I probably shouldn't wear anymore because they're just not flattering. So yeah, so I got that one. I'm not sure I love the title of that book, but you know, we'll see. As you can see, this one, it loves to jump. Jump, jump, jump. Will you smile? Hee, hee, hee. Anyways, so that's what's been kind of going on over here. Yeah, I don't know. I've been sort of doing a lot of thinking, and sometimes when I'm in my conversations with my husband, it's sort of coming across like I'm just maybe one of those people who just can't seem to be happy with what I have. And I'm trying to sort of change that. You know, like my husband was saying, like, can't you just like your son for how he is right now? And I do, but again, like, I don't know what this is with me, but I'm sort of like, oh, but he's not listening to me when I tell him to do this. Or it takes me like 5 times to tell him to please come and brush your teeth. So I'm always complaining about something. And I really want to stop doing that. And I'm hoping that's just not my personality flaw. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about that lately, that while I do appreciate all the wonderful things that I have, I'm still always thinking about how to make it, or what I don't like, or what I would like to change, you know, about things. I don't know if this is like a personality flaw or not, but you know, I'm always sort of thinking about that, like, yeah. So anyways, this guy though has sort of showed me gotta sometimes live in the moment a little bit more instead of thinking about how things could be. And I think I appreciate that about him, because I feel like he doesn't really have much of a choice, right? Like, he just is the way he is, and no matter how much I talk at him, he can't you know, like he's not going to be like, oh, I can't stop crying, or that's just, you know, going to be the way he is. But I kind of feel like with my 3.5-year-old, I kind of like telling, I kind of wish I could tell him, would you quit whining? You know, quit whining, please. And yeah, that's one of those things I kind of complain about, like that, you know, he's great and all, but God, I wish he would A, stop whining, B, eat his vegetables and eat his fruits, and you know, all these things that I always find to complain about. I don't know why. I really need to stop that. So that is another thing. Yeah, another thing I will work on about myself. So yeah, I hope everybody is doing well. Maybe I will film a few more of these just as a way to let me get my thoughts out, because sometimes I don't really get to do that. And I think my husband gets a little bit frustrated with me sometimes, where he says things and he's trying to help, but I just seem to, I don't know why, but I always counter back with something. Like I have to have the last word or something about how, yeah, but this is still bad. Yeah, it's not a good way to be, and I realize that that's frustrating for him as well, and he's trying really hard. So let's all try together, right? Let's all try together to be more positive, and you know, count to 3 before you say something you regret. So I will endeavor to do that. Okay, let's all work on that together. Let's all be nicer people. Okay, hope you're all doing well. This guy is chomping away at my hands. I'm going to go now. Hope you're all doing well, and yeah, thanks for watching.